Dzień dobry. Very warm welcome from me as well. It's very exciting for me to be here today, and I'm quite proud to have the opportunity to open this Performance Day here in Warsaw, speaking with you about new global trends in affiliate marketing. My name is Matthias. I'm CEO at Tradedoubler, which I joined a few years ago in 2007, so I'm around for quite some time. Before I joined Tradedoubler, I was working on client side. I was working for a German IT service company for around 7 years. Since I joined Tradedoubler, I had different positions, mainly within technology and within sales. CEO, I'm since 2014. My main expertise, that's not a big surprise probably, is around affiliate marketing, but then I focus a lot and I have a lot of interest in digital technologies in general, and then as well in data and data analytics. For me, affiliate marketing is one of the most exciting disciplines in digital marketing in general, and there are two reasons that I think about. The one is just the size. Affiliate marketing is predicted to be a $6.8 billion industry in 2020. That's a lot of money that is done through affiliate marketing, and just the size of it makes that it moves and that it shows a lot of value for all clients that are involved into that. The other one is just the dynamic of affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing has always been some kind of incubator for new disciplines in digital marketing. And when you think back around 10 years and you think about the setup your affiliate program had back then and you compare it to today, you will see that it has changed completely since then. Back in the days, even search was part of affiliate marketing. Then you know that retargeting has risen through affiliate marketing. And then today you have new trends that try to establish themselves within affiliate marketing. So it's some kind of incubator. And if you want to be successful in affiliate marketing, you obviously need to stay on top of these trends. And you need to watch them closely, and you need to decide what's going to be hot and what's going to be not. I have picked 4 different trends that I want to speak a little bit more in detail to give some inspiration for today, share a few facts, share a few views, so that we can have good discussions during the day, speaking about them further. One of them is influencer marketing. Influencer marketing has become almost some kind of mainstream. It's rising rapidly, it's growing rapidly. It's almost established itself as an own vertical, and it's something that we should definitely watch and follow closely within affiliate marketing. Another one is voice search, a quite new topic, but with a massive push from big players. Everybody, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google are pushing voice search. So this is definitely having a big impact on all our lives in the future. With that, obviously, on the lives of our customers as well, and with that, on our business life in affiliate marketing too. Then data. We speak so much about data. We speak about data for years now. I just read a report recently that 90% of all the data that was generated in the lifetime of mankind was generated in the last 2 years. So we are desperate in generating data, having insights into data. But what does that actually mean for our affiliate marketing programs? How do we get to actionable insights that we do something with the data that influences the results of our campaigns? And then as the last one, mobile domination. Mobile is not a new topic. It's around since we have smartphones, so almost 10 years as well. But then mobile has so many different opportunities, and I think we're very, very far away to have realized the potential that is within mobile. There are new trends within mobile almost within every day, and we need to see how we can realize potential that we see here. As I said, influencer marketing is rising quickly. It's almost some kind of mainstream. You see a figure here. When it comes to the term influencer marketing itself and Google searches, the keyword has been searched for 325% more often than 1 year ago. So influencer marketing is on the rise. Influencer marketing has become a vital digital discipline and has a big influence on affiliate marketing as well. There are a few reasons why it has to. There are a few other statistics that fuel that. 74% of all users, all digital users, say that they have trust into social networks, and around 50%, 49% say that they trust influencers. We have another figure here that I find quite interesting. 40% of Twitter users say that they have already purchased something because of a tweet from somebody else. And I've been thinking about that. It's a figure that you have there, and but when you think deeper about it, I think it's quite fascinating, because something like that happened to me just last week. I was on LinkedIn and I was looking through the news, and the CEO of my former company posted some article of himself where he said, over the summer vacation, I have read 10 books about digital transformation, and this one from the CEO of Microsoft was the most exciting one, about how Microsoft does this digital transformation within itself. And he posted a link to Amazon, pure his own private interest. He was sharing that with his community. I read about that. It's obviously interesting for me. I clicked on the link and I bought this book. That happened all within basically 5 seconds, right? I was at work, I was sitting in front of my computer, I was not in shopping mood, I was actually concentrating on something completely different. I was not thinking about a book, I was not thinking about digital transformation, but still within 5 seconds I ran through the whole user channel, the whole AIDA from attention to purchase to action, and I bought this book 5 minutes later. This example shows, I think, quite in a quite good way what an influence social media and influencers can have on your results of campaigns. No wonder then that 75% of all marketers claim that they have allocated money to influencer marketing. So why has influencer marketing risen so quickly now? I think there are 4 main reasons for that. One is the change of role. In the past, influencer marketing has been part of PR and part of branding. Companies had branding budgets. Branding budgets were fixed budgets, or it was CPN budgets, paid for placements, and influencer marketing was there, and all influencers and bloggers were treated in the same way as part of a branding campaign. This has changed quite quickly, especially with the rise of social platforms, where influencers and bloggers themselves got much more self-aware. They know what kind of influence they can have on their followers, and they started to be brand ambassadors, posting something about their own shopping behavior, about their own style. Brands themselves then realized that influencers can be brand ambassadors. And now they treat them differently. It's not within branding anymore, it's not within PR anymore, and brands speak with bloggers and influencers directly. So this change of role, I think, has made a big change, why influencer marketing has become so important in the last time. Another one is the user journey. All marketers have the ability to analyze their user behavior in digital marketing through user journey reporting. And every marketer understands now what a big impact influencers can have on the different user journeys, either initiating user journeys or participating in the user journey, influencing the sale later on that might happen on a completely different website. This builds trust, and marketers are much more willing now to spend money and pay influencers directly, instead of having that just through PR budgets or marketing budgets. Third one is mobile usage. Everybody's using a mobile phone. Influencers are obviously most mobile savvy, and influencers work mainly on social platforms, which is used again on mobile devices. So you can see a real push on mobile behavior. All these influencer followers are usually relatively young people as well, who use their mobile phones in a very savvy way, are active on social platforms. The push of mobile usage pushes automatically influencer marketing then as well. And as a result of all that, a change in commission model. As I said in the beginning, influencer marketing was part of PR, it was branding budgets. Now that has changed. Influencers are willing or actually want to be paid on performance, saying CPC or even CPO, and marketers are obviously willing to pay much more and invest into this channel. What to do now in order to benefit from this trend? As you can see here, 84% of all marketers say that they are working with influencers. How do we ensure that we have the right ROI? How do we manage influencer campaigns in the best way? There are 4 different things that I think are really important. The one is to define the different objectives for influencer campaigns. What do you actually want to achieve with your influencer campaign? Do you want to do branding? Do you want to have exposure of your products? Do you want to drive traffic to your shop? Do you want to have conversions? It's very important that you set the right objectives, that you know what you want to achieve while working with influencers in order to give the right content to them. Secondly, it's all about developing relationships. 29% of all influencers have never used a tracking link in affiliate marketing, or they don't even know what affiliate marketing is. And then you can imagine that influencers are very, very different characters. You have maybe football players, you have beauty models, you have all kind of different persons there, and you need to engage with them, you need to speak with them, and you need to be very close to them. You need to think, how can I make this influencer a brand ambassador? Maybe I give them product samples for free. Maybe I give them a certain campaign for free. Maybe I invite them to my company or where we create our products, something like this. So you need to be close, you need to understand the influencers, and you need to make the influencers understanding you. It's very much about relationship building. You need to get the content right. It's different. Influencers write in their blog, they write in social media. You need to have the content available in a certain format. You need to have it in some way that influencers can work with that. They will usually not adapt to what you have. You need to adapt to make it user-friendly for them. Otherwise, they will probably work for different products or for different companies. And then you need to have budget behind that, right? So you need to understand it, you need to be willing, and I think it's very, very important that everybody really tests how influencer marketing is most relevant for them, because for everybody it will be a little bit different. So you need to do different tests with different kinds of influencers, with different kinds of bloggers, with different kinds of campaigns at different times. I think that is very important to find your way forward on that. Coming to voice search, as I said, that's brand new. There are a few statistics to that as well. 50% of all searches, according to Comstor, will be done on voice searches by 2020. That's quite a bit. And what I think is another thing that will drive this, besides this push that I said before from companies like Amazon, Google or Microsoft, that around 30% of searches will be done without a screen, and voice searches will be implemented in third-party tools. So it will not only be the Alexa tool or the Echo tool, it will go through your smartphone, it will go through your iPad, or other tools, maybe in your kitchen or somewhere else, will be able to react to voice demands, and your computer will be able to do voice searches. This is something I think that will push this whole thing, and I can imagine that we are in a similar situation when it comes to voice search than we were with smartphones some 10 years ago, where everybody was aware of that, some had one, but at that time I think only very few people were able to predict this exponential rise of smartphones that we saw in the years after. When you look at that, according to Activate, in 2020, 21.4 million smart speakers will be in the US. I don't know exactly the number of households in the US, but I think it's around 160 million or so. So 20 million in 2 years is already a massive number, right? Then you will see already next year, voice recognition market will be around 601 million US dollars. That's much, much smaller than what we just saw before for influencer marketing, and we will see later for mobile, but that is already next year, so this is already 2019. So this is something that has already begun, but it's a little bit in the back and underneath as well. How to leverage now voice search? When you think about affiliate marketing, what could be the link? As I said before, voice search is probably something that will impact everybody's life in the one or other way, which means obviously it will impact the life of your customers as well, and you need to adapt to that. You need to see how you can leverage that for your own business. The one is content optimization that comes to my mind. Most of the searches already now, so the typed searches, are local, about local queries. When you do voice search, you will speak in a much more natural way. It will be even more localized. So you need to think about the content of your website. When you think about SEO, etc., you need to think about the content of your website, about your Q&A sections and all that stuff. Is that relevant for my clients? Is that local, right? Is that relevant? Does that match? The other one is considering intent. When you type something in your computer and you look for something, then you're usually quite specific because you think, and then maybe you look for a pair of shoes and you know what you want and you type the color and maybe even the size. If you do that via search, you speak in a way like you speak with each other. And then you maybe say, I want to have a pair of fancy brown shoes. Fancy is a subjective term, right? And you probably have not booked a keyword that includes fancy. So you will need to think about how you do that in the future. You will probably focus on the long tail of search terms in a completely different way than you have done before. And you need to think in a different way. How do your users speak? How do they speak about your products? How do they then search, voice search like? For my product, it will be completely different as if somebody is sitting in front of the computer and is typing that into a screen. Another one is mobile. Voice search will be very, very connected to mobile. That's the benefit for the users, that they don't need to sit in front of a computer. So it will be very linked to smartphones. It will be very linked to mobile devices. So you need to make sure that all your mobile content, your mobile website, your mobile tracking, etc. is working. And you shouldn't forget image search. If a lady wants to buy a new bag, I think she will not make the effort to just like describe the bag in the voice search. Something like image search will be a big part of that. Just like I want to have this bag, uploading this image and so looking for the image of the bag and buying it like that. I was thinking about how that will influence affiliate marketing, and it will be very, very interesting with what kind of models publisher will come up in order to use voice search in affiliate marketing. When you think that, just like to trigger some thoughts, if your refrigerator in your kitchen orders milk, then the refrigerator is the publisher, right? And the milk is bought in the supermarket, which is then the advertiser. Somewhere in between you have the tracking link or you have your voice search tool. So it will be very, very interesting how that will work in affiliate marketing and what kind of influence that will have. I think it will have a massive impact. Next one is data-driven digital strategies. As I said, we speak about data for quite a long time. We have tons of data, and we have made some advantages with data to understand it in a better way. Still, it is quite complicated to get to actionable insights. So use the data in a way that you impact your campaigns, that you come to conclusions, how to act on your campaigns, making decisions, how to improve, driving your ROI and your results further. There is this pyramid, data, information, and insights. That is very interesting, that you should have in mind. Data is just the raw information. I have an example. I have my running watch here. I was running this morning, and the running watch says I did 8,000 steps today, right? When you have an Excel sheet and you have there 8,000 steps, then this is data. For somebody who doesn't know me, who doesn't know that I have said that, if I just sent that to anybody, 8,000 steps can be anything, right? It's just a parameter, it doesn't include any information, and of course you won't get any insights into that. When you add more information to that, when you know that I said that, and when you said that I have this running watch and I did 8,000 steps, then that's obviously information, right? That makes somehow sense. It's linked, you know that I was running. There is some information behind that. Still, you're very far away from getting some insights, because in order to get some insights, you need to have the context, right? Why am I doing that? Right? There could be different things. It could be just for fun. It could be I have a training plan. It could be that I want to lose weight or just have a healthy lifestyle. All these things you need to add to get to insights. And then in order to get to actionable insights, which is what you want to really have, you need to understand what that means, right? 8,000 steps could be very much, right? For somebody who doesn't never move and is on the couch all day, 8,000 steps is a lot. For somebody who wants to run a marathon, maybe 8,000 steps is not so much, right? So what is the intent behind? What is the target to that? That's all things that you need to add to that to make data understandable and then make it usable for you. Right? If I take then the average of my 8,000 steps and I said, okay, last 10 days I did every day 5,000, then the 8,000 is actually quite good, right? So I probably no action to that. If my target is 20,000, then I probably should get moving right after I did this presentation in order to get to my target. And I have an actionable insight, I need to do something, right? And the same goes for your campaigns as well. And I have put together some kind of toolbox here, how to get to actionable insights and how to maximize actionable insights. The first thing is alignment. When you look at your data, you need to align them to some kind of KPIs. Your company, your department, your marketing campaigns have some targets, they have some KPIs. When you look at these figures, you need to make sure that you have the right KPIs. If you have a performance campaign, you maybe don't want to look so much at impressions, right? It doesn't say you very much. Maybe it's some kind of sub-KPI, but definitely it's further away from performance than, for example, clicks, leads, or sales. You need to put it in some kind of context. That's what I meant with the target. If you track 1,500 leads a day, that could be the best day in your life, right? Because 1,500 leads is good if you usually do only 100 on average. If you do usually 10,000 on average until this time of the day, 1,500 is not so good. You might want to look into that. Maybe something wrong, right? Maybe a publisher is not working on your program or something like that. You need to be relevant. If you put, for example, if you have a 2 weeks campaign and you put all the details of this campaign to your CEO will look at that and she might be completely overwhelmed because that's obviously not the business, it's a tiny campaign. You really need to make this information relevant for the people to use. So you need to have the right information at the right time with the right settings for the right person, obviously, in order to get insights, otherwise you get into data confusion again. You need to be specific, so you need to have it complete. You need to have a complete overview about what this means and have the context right. And then you should aim to look at the data from different angles. When you always look at the same patterns, right, that's a human behavior. If you look at something for 10 times, it gets boring and then you get a little bit sloppy and then you don't really picture it. You need to look at it from another dimension. You need something new and then you will get new insights and you will draw new conclusions, something you can act on within your campaign. And then obviously clarity. It's a very much dependent. My brain works best if I can picture something, so I work very well with graphs. I know others like to draw into tables and look at all these different figures and they get their insights. I need a graph to understand it, right? And I say, yeah, okay, there it is. It's very clear, right? So you need to think about how you visualize the data as well. The rise of mobile, the fourth trend I want to speak about. As I said, mobile is not really new, but I think it's the most undervalued and the most underestimated part of affiliate marketing or digital marketing in general. That is probably for the reason that it's around for 10 years, right? Since we have smartphones, everybody is saying, okay, mobile is the next big thing. And then a year later said, is it still the next big thing, or will it next year, or is that already over? We speak like this about mobile for almost 10 years. And then we see at the same time that mobile is not used at all for the full extent that people should do in their affiliate program or their digital marketing activities. Apple, we have quite a few changes to that. Apple last week changed some part of their tracking. You know that under Intelligent Tracking Prevention ITP 2.0, where Apple changed the rules about what you can track, how you can track on Apple smartphones, Apple browser, and within Apple apps, which means that it's becoming increasingly hard, for example, to track with cookies. At Tradedoubler, we have different tracking methodologies. We call them G1 and G2. G1 is generation 1, it's cookie-based. G2 uses an ID. Then we have fingerprint tracking, we have cross-device tracking. For the last 2 years, we have made a major effort to update all the tracking for all our clients to be at least G2 or ideally fingerprint, where you then don't need any cookies anymore, and ideally cross-device, because only then you can follow your user from desktop to smartphone to tablet and then to check out. We still, after 2 years, have around 20% of our clients who track only with cookies, right? As a marketer, you can claim, okay, well, I get the sales anyway. That is right. But then you think about all these mobile publishers, mobile-focused publishers, pure mobile publishers. They will then obviously not get incentivized because you lose the user on the way, on the user journey, because he switches or she switches from smartphone to tablet, and you're not able to track that anymore. And your publisher will lose this commission. So your publisher will rather work on a program that's cross-device enabled than on a program that purely clicks on cookies. And then in the long run, you have a big disadvantage when running these campaigns. As I said, even with a major effort, around a fifth of all the clients we work with, 2,000 advertisers across Europe, around a fifth is still on cookie-only tracking, which means they don't really understand how important, how big the impact of mobile and then the tracking there is. Tracking, I said, there are other opportunities. You need to have the right mobile strategy. It's not about having mobile enabled, have mobile tracking, have a mobile website. You need to think about the whole strategy. You have users nowadays that go into a store and they research on their phone and buy in the shop. Or they research in the shop and buy on their smartphone because they want to have it shipped home or something like that. This is something that's happening. We have figures for that. It's a relevant number. Now you need to make sure that, for example, if somebody buys a dress in your store, you have the same price in the store and you have the same online. You need to make sure the user will be irritated if they go to a store and they see a dress is 200 euros and in the online shop it's only 120 euros, then they feel tricked, right? So you lose trust there. So you need to have a consistent setup, you need to have a consistent strategy that includes offline and online, and you need to have a dedicated mobile strategy. And I think because mobile's been so high in the awareness and then on the other hand, not really, this is somehow getting a little bit under and is not appreciated as it should. I think if somebody really digs into that, mobile and the opportunities it has is a pure gold mine. That was the trends I wanted to present here. Quickly about Tradedoubler. Tradedoubler is committed being a growth partner for our clients. What we do is customized performance marketing solutions that we base on our expertise and our technology and deliver to our clients together with the network, so together with the publishers that we have. We are a global company. We're around for 20 years. We're a global company working in 83 countries. We have a very, very local presence. We have a very strong team here in Poland. And Lukasz always says that our Polish Tradedoubler team is the best performance marketing team in the galaxy. And when you look at the figures, 175 million euros order value for our clients. It's a rise of 20%, and I think now it's again 30% in 2018. When you look at that, you're probably right, having the best team in the galaxy. I'm very, very proud to be here, driving such figures for our clients. This is why we're here. This is what we're here for. This is exciting, and this is what's really fun. That's what's driving us. And I'm really looking forward to discuss with you further about trends in affiliate marketing during today or at night if you join the gala dinner tonight as well. Thank you very much.